Kimberly and I got married on the 18th in Las Vegas, and I want to get that tattoo put on my arm with the date of our wedding, you know. And I would tell you the whole wedding story because it's hilarious, but I ain't got time to do that. But it's a very funny. Well, maybe I do got time to do that. I'm gonna tell you, it's a very funny story. You see, about 10 months before we went out to Vegas, I took my pants off, laid them close to an electric heater, and all my cards melted on my driver's license, and you couldn't read my driver's license. So I had a Tennessee driver's license. So I went to Tennessee and I applied for a driver's license, and they gave me a piece of paper that said it was good for 30 days, and they would mail the license to me in the mail. Okay, you got that picture in your head? All right, now, so anyway, we're out in Las Vegas now. My wife, she's been home being a grandmother to our grandson. I've been on the road for like 2 or 3 months by myself, you know, driving, doing shows, and she's been taking care of our grandson. So I called her on the phone. I said, you know, I'm playing out in Roswell, Nevada at a casino. I wish you'd just catch a plane. I said, it's a long way. Help me drive out there. So she flew into Dallas, Texas, and I picked her up, and she helped me drive to California. So we were taking turns driving and sleeping in the back seat. So I was driving, she was sleeping, and she woke up. And she went, shit, dude, you're going the wrong way. And I went, what? She said, you're going the wrong way. You're going towards Las Vegas. I go, well, I know. I got the day off, man. I'm going to Vegas. I'm a gambler, you know. So I take her to Las Vegas, right? And I really had 2 days off, you know. But I took her over there. At 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke her up, and you know, in Vegas, you never know what time it is. I just woke her up at 4 o'clock in the morning. She said, what's going on? I go, dude, I need you to get up and go take a blood test. And she said, what? I said, I need you to get up and go take a blood test. And she said, what for? I said, well, I need to know if you got any kind of venereal diseases or anything. She goes, you better go back to sleep, motherfucker. And I went back to sleep because I'm not stupid. I woke up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and she goes, what now, David? I said, well, I'm just going to tell you something. I'm tired of living like this. You know, I'm 70 years old, almost 71 years old, and I don't want to live this way no more. She goes, what does that mean? I said, it means I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. I said, in 15 minutes, I'm going to walk through that door, and the first woman I see, I don't give a fuck if it's the maid, I'm going to ask her to marry me. And then I went to the bathroom, and when I come out of the bathroom, she wasn't in the room. So I opened the door, and she's standing there in her pajamas with her hands on her hips like this, you know. And I went, oh, well, you're the first woman I've seen. I guess I'm supposed to ask you if you'll marry me. And she goes, only if you'll give me 45 minutes to get ready. I said, okay. So I go down and I'm trying to get a ring. I realize I don't know what size ring she wears, so I'm trying to call her and she won't answer the phone because, you know, she's a woman. She only got 45 minutes to get ready and she ain't going to waste it talking on the goddamn phone, you know what I mean? So anyway, we got a friend of ours that's in a wheelchair, so I sent him up to the room and I said, I need to know about a ring size or something. So he comes back down, he's got one of her rings, so I bought his wedding ring, you know. And so then she finally gets ready and comes down. So our friends drive us down to the courthouse to get the marriage license. And we stand in line for like 2 hours. We're standing in this line. We finally get up there and I hand the lady she goes, I'm sorry, sir, you have to have a picture ID. And I went, I don't have a picture ID. I said, this is all I've got. This is my God. She goes, well, we don't recognize that in the state of Nevada. We can't give you a marriage license. About that time, the door opens and these 2 couples come in and they go, oh my God, David Allan Coe. And they run over there, can I have your autograph? And the lady goes, who are you? I said, lady, I've been trying to tell you for 20 minutes. This is my picture on the back of my shirt. This is my name. I ain't no ordinary dude. I don't have to work. I got my name on my shirt. You understand me? That's what it is. I'm a songwriter. I'm a singer. She goes, well, just tell me something that you wrote songs for. I said, I wrote songs for Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings and George Jones and Tammy Wynette and Loretta Lynn and Frank Tucker. And she goes, well, just tell me the name of one song you wrote. I said, take this job and shove it. She said, you got your license. So now they give me the license, right? So Kimmy says, what's now? I said, well, we're going to go take a taxi cab and go find us a justice of the peace and get married. I said, I don't want no big ass wedding or nothing. We'll just go there. So we step outside and there's a cab sitting there, and next to the cab is like a 50-foot limousine. And Kimberly just stops in her tracks and she goes, I'm marrying David Allan Coe. I'm riding in a taxi cab? I don't think so. I should be riding in a limousine. I walk over and open the door. I said, well, you smart mouth motherfucker, just get in the goddamn car then. She goes, oh my God, you know, they're going to take us to jail. We're going to get arrested. She don't know I already rented the car, you know what I mean? So, and in the meantime, I tell her, I said, we're just going to go find a justice of peace. But I called a friend of mine that's an Elvis impersonator because she likes Elvis. He got all dressed up. We go to the little white wedding chapel, and she walks in the door, and Elvis is standing there. She gets her picture taken with Elvis, right? And this is funny shit, man. I mean, it's funny now. It wasn't funny at the time, if you know what I mean. So anyway, what was my point? My point was,